Hi guys, it's Ksenia. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm finally doing my winter perfume recommendations. So I have my top 10 here, and then I have an honorable mention, which I think will shock a lot of you guys, but we'll get to that. I'll show you that in the end. As per usual, I have a really good mixture of high and low perfumes, and I have a few different types of like perfume tastes. So I have actually a lot that are sweet in this category, just because I feel like the winter time is like the most appropriate weather to wear sweeter fragrances, because it's just like where they thrive. But don't worry, because I do have some fresher scents as well, but that are still dense enough that will work really well in the winter time. I personally wear all of these perfumes all year round. I'm not really the type of person that is like, I only wear a certain perfume when it's a certain season. I don't care if it's like the heaviest perfume in the world, I will still wear it during summer. And if it's like the freshest perfume in the world, I will wear it in winter. Like, I don't really care about seasons that much. But in my personal opinion, I think these are like the best for the winter time. These are like the most sexy, indulgent perfumes that will just keep you smelling right this winter. If you want to know my top 10 sexy, amazing winter perfume recommendations, then just keep watching. Alright, so I'm going to start off with a perfume that I actually have not talked about on my channel in a very long time. I don't think I've talked about it since I hauled it in a video, and I hauled it months ago. But this is the most perfect wintertime perfume, honestly all year round, but especially for the winter. This is Dior LOVERDOSE. Now, this is a designer perfume, but you could find this for a very affordable price. It is the sexiest. I mean, you can tell from this bottle. This perfume is like a magic potion in a bottle. It will just bring in the compliments, and people will just think you smell out of this world. Think of this perfume as like a more elevated, richer, darker, sexier, like 10 times sexier than YSL Black Opium. If that's the kind of perfume that you like, you will absolutely love this, because it still has like that sexy sweetness that Black Opium has, but this one actually has some chocolatey notes in it, which just make this so indulgent. I wouldn't necessarily call this a full-on gourmand, because there is a very perfumey quality about it, but it does have a gourmand quality to it as well. This amazing perfume has top notes of sugar, blackcurrant, apple, and bergamot. It has middle notes of cacao pod, hazelnut, orange blossom, and apricot, and base notes of patchouli and amber. As you can tell by those middle notes, we have that cacao pod, the hazelnut. It's giving it like that very much like hazelnutty, cocoa, like chocolatey sort of feel, which is so like sexy and so sweet and sugary. But there is some other notes in it to kind of balance it out. This is so underrated. I feel like not many people talk about this, and I feel like they should. It does sort of start off with a little bit of like the bright opening notes, like you get a little bit of that bergamot in here, but just for like a split second, just in that opening, because you also get the sugar and the blackcurrant and the apple with it as well, which gives this like kind of like a berry almost feel. So it's like very sweet and sugary, but then as you get it to dry down, it gets more dense and more warm. I feel like this bottle just really does the speaking for you. I believe there's also one in a purple bottle. I'm not sure what the other ones are called. I don't know how many flankers are in this line, but the red LOVERDOSE is just a perfume that any sweet lover needs in their collection. I'm telling you, you need this perfume. I almost forgot about it for a second because it was kind of behind some of my perfumes. And when I was trying to get the perfumes to do this video, I was like, I have to talk about that perfume. Like, this is a must. It's a need. Huge compliment getter. I'm not just telling you, I'm promising you that when you put this on, you will get so many people coming up to you like, what are you wearing? For such an affordable perfume, this also has amazing staying power, and I feel like that's probably mostly due to the fact that this has patchouli, because let's be real, patchouli literally makes perfumes stay on for days. And even though I don't smell patchouli in here, which is a definite plus because I'm not into the scent of patchouli, it does help this last forever. Not only does it last longer, but I feel like the longer you have it on, it like transforms so well. It gets more sweet and intimate, and oh my god, it's just delicious. The more you have this on, it just transforms with like your skin chemistry and it's amazing. You need this. You need Diesel Loverdose. All right, the next perfume I'm going to talk about is a fairly new scent to me, but this is such a good perfume. I feel like I'm going to say sexy for like every single one of these. They all just really scream like feminine, sexy, mature energy, but just in different ways. And this is Juliette Has a Gun Lipstick Fever. I did a whole video where I basically reviewed the range from the house of Juliette Has a Gun. I had a whole discovery set, and after I smelled Lipstick Fever and that discovery set, I ran to Sephora and I got the full bottle. From the entire line that I smelled, this one is my absolute favorite. I mean, this was like a love at first sniff, and that doesn't always happen to me. This is called Lipstick Fever for a reason, because it's one of those perfumes that is kind of meant to mimic like that lipsticky, powdery makeup scent. So it's very feminine, it's very sweet. Like, go and smell a Maybelline lipstick or a L'Oreal lipstick. Honestly, not so much L'Oreal, because I feel like L'Oreal lipsticks give you like that floral lipsticky scent, like kind of like grandma vibes, if you know what I mean. Whereas lipsticks like, let's say, the MAC lipsticks or Maybelline lipsticks, NYX, like the soft matte lip creams, I feel like if you're a person that has ever smelled a sweet lipstick smell before, then you know what that scent is. This one kind of mimics all of that. It's like that kind of powdery sweet, and I don't normally like powdery scents, but in this scent, because of how sweet it is, this is the perfect powdery scent. This has top notes of raspberry and violet, middle notes of iris and patchouli, and base notes of cedar and vanilla. It's also really like kind of syrupy, which again I feel like I'm not into, but in this scent I like it's like a really sweet syrupy kind of smell. For some reason, when people say like a perfume smells powdery or syrupy, I feel like I always relate the syrupy smell to like a maple syrup kind of smell, and I really hate that smell. But this is a type of this is like a sweet syrup, like a syrup you would put into a candy or something. Like, it's just so sweet. I'm guessing because of that raspberry. The raspberry is really honestly like the star of the show for me in this. Like, it's the main note that I can really pick up, and I feel like it's the main reason why this is as sweet as it is. And then the other notes just kind of complement it. But I feel like if you love the scent of raspberry, you will love this scent. And also, if you love scents like Lolita Lampica in the purple bottle and also in the red bottle, this one kind of gives off vibes to those as well. Kind of has that similar licoricey sweet scent that those two have. And when my fiance smelled this, he literally told me to go and buy it, because he was like, that is like such a sexy perfume. Like, he loved this scent. So get your man to smell this scent, because I promise you, they will love it. And this lasts a really long time. Honestly, I found that a lot of the scents from this house have really good lasting power, which I would expect, because this is a niche brand, but it's a niche brand that's more so on the affordable side. I don't want to say affordable, because this is like $130, which is definitely not affordable, but for a niche perfume, it is affordable, because usually niche perfumes are like $300 and something. So again, that is Juliette Has a Gun Lipstick Fever. All right, the next perfume I'm going to mention here is also a fairly new perfume to me. I've only had this for like a month or two, but again, I fell in love with this the second that I smelled it, and this is Carolina Herrera Good Girl Supreme. So this is one of the flankers of Good Girl. Now, I'm like Good Girl's biggest fan. I love Good Girl. There's something about that scent that literally, it's probably one of my most complimented scents ever. If you're the type of person where maybe you didn't love Good Girl because of how, I mean, it is like a sweet perfume, but it does have kind of like this crispy freshness to it. Like, I think it's the tuberose that kind of gives it that smell, and it's a lot more prominent in the original Good Girl. But if that perfume maybe was a little too fresh for you and not as sweet as you would have wanted it, if you're like an ultra sweet lover, then I'm telling you, you need to get your hands on this one. The original is already super sexy, but this to me is even sexier. I did not think I could love a perfume more than I love that perfume, but I love this more. It has top notes of forest fruits and Egyptian jasmine, middle notes of tonka bean and tuberose, and base notes of vetiver. So you still have that tuberose, but it's much more subtle in this. That top notes of the forest fruits Like, you just get hit with like this sugary berry scent, but it's not like airy fruity, it's like dense fruity, like just sugar. And then the tonka bean also plays a really big role in here. It just kind of like sweetens up even more. It almost gives it like this ambery creamy scent. This is overall a lot creamier than the original. It kind of just loses that crisp tuberosy sort of scent that the original has. So I mean, this is really just something that you gotta pick. Like, if you're into more of that fresher, crisper, but still very sweet scent of the original, then obviously go for that one. But if you love your berries, you love your sweets, you like something a lot more richer and dense and sweet, then you need to go for Good Girl Supreme. Like, this blew me away. The lasting power of this, phenomenal. I remember we had gone out for dinner and this was like my perfume of choice that day. And first of all, it smelled so good. And once we got home, I put all my clothes in like the dirty laundry. And the next day when I went to go do laundry, my entire dirty laundry bin smelled so good. And I was like, what smells so good in here? Come to find out, it was the shirt that I had sprayed this on, and the scent had somehow just gotten even better, and it had lasted throughout the entire night and the next day, obviously. So you definitely don't have to worry about lasting power with the scent as well. Like, you're just getting everything in here. Amazing scent, amazing lasting power, sexy vibes. And this one I feel like could be good for and like all year round, but just because of how sweet it is why I felt like it would be really fitting for the winter time. But you could wear this at any time. Like, I definitely will. So that is Carolina Herrera Good Girl Supreme. The next scent I have is one, again, I haven't talked about this in a minute. I might have talked about this in maybe like my last year fall perfumes video. I don't know if I did. I really cannot remember because it was last year. I don't even remember what I had for breakfast today. This is Armani Code. It is so unique. This is a type of scent that you just haven't smelled before. I feel like I would put this kind of in the same category as Alien, not because they smell similar, but because of how unique they are. It's one of those perfumes that you smell and you're like, I have never smelled that scent ever in my life. This one is going to be for those of you that, you know, maybe you still like a little bit of sweetness, but you love citrusy scents. I'm not a huge fan of citrus scents because I'm not into really tart, sour type, like fresh scents. That's not really me. But this is a scent that it has a lot of citrus notes in here, so it does give you that. But this is like the only citrus perfume in the world that is somehow also very dense. Because of the notes that are in here, this just gives you such a sexy, indulgent citrus scent. This has top notes of Italian orange, jasmine, and bitter orange, middle notes of jasmine, orange blossom, and ginger, and base notes of honey, vanilla, and sandalwood. So as you can tell, there's a bunch of orange in here. And honestly, throughout this entire scent, even smelling it out the bottle, even when you spray this out, even in the dry down, you're still gonna get that orange. It never really leaves this, but it does kind of transform. This is like the opposite of a linear fragrance because it goes through so much. It definitely starts off very orangey, very zesty, very bright, almost kind of gives you a little bit of like the scent of Dolce & Gabbana light blue, like that opening, like that really fresh, zesty opening. But once you start getting the middle notes and then the base notes, once the base notes hit, you get like sweeter notes coming in. This is also a very spicy scent, so if you like kind of like an oriental kind of smell, then this one is definitely the way to go. We also have some really amazing florals. As you guys know, I love jasmine and I also really like orange blossom. The sweeter notes just kind of make all of like those bright citrusy notes a lot more creamy, so they're not so like in your face and screechy anymore. It's like a bitter sweet type of scent. There is like a bitter quality to it. If you love the scent of orange, you will love this, but even if you're not super into super zesty citrus scents, I highly recommend giving this one a chance because this is so good. And I feel like it's really hard to do citrusy scents without them coming across as like a bathroom cleaner or like a citrus flavored Windex, like something you clean with basically. But this one, because of all the notes and how it's composed, it's very far from that because this has like that really rich perfumey quality and it also smells very expensive. It has this edge to it. It's dark, it's deep, it's dense, it's beautiful. It also has like this masculine sort of like cologne-y vibe to it. It's still very feminine in my opinion, but it does have like that duality of both, and I know a lot of women love that kind of sense in their perfumes. So if that's again something that you like, definitely go for this one. That is Armani Code. So now we're taking it down to a very affordable perfume, but I had to include. This is my Rihanna Reb'l Fleur Love Always, not to be confused with the original Reb'l Fleur, which I also have and I love. Now, I did a video where I kind of talked about the difference between the two. Basically, this smells exactly like the original Reb'l Fleur, but creamy and less screechy. If you have one, do I think you need both? Not really, but if you're somebody that's starting off with this fragrance, then I'm definitely going to recommend this one over the original. Again, same exact scent in both, but if you're like a really huge perfume connoisseur like me and you really pinpoint, like you can tell all like the difference, like little tiny details in perfumes, then you're definitely going to tell that this one is a lot creamier than the original. It's just so much better. It's really hard to describe. I love this one so much. They have the exact same notes in both, so you're still getting the top notes of plum, red berries, and peach. You get the middle notes of coconut, tuberose, violet, and hibiscus, and base notes of vanilla, patchouli, amber, and musk. Same notes, but different composition. I feel like maybe they added more of a certain note and less of another one. I'm not really sure what they did to kind of get these to smell the same but different. I feel like the coconut is a little bit more prominent in here as well. Again, not too much, and definitely not a note where like, oh, this smells like coconut. Like if you didn't know there was coconut in here, you wouldn't know, but I'm only pinpointing it because I know what's in here, and I also have the originals, so I can kind of like compare and contrast. This is super sweet, peachy, plummy, coconut and vanilla type of fragrance. Like that is like the main things that you're gonna smell out of this. I think a major reason why I love this more than the original is because I feel like that patchouli is done a lot softer. I don't know if they just included less patchouli in this, but I'm very glad that they did, because this is way toned down on that patchouli and like that spice scent of the original, so that's what kind of makes this a little bit creamier. That patchouli is not so in your face like it is in the original. That is like if you're really like nitpicky and you can tell like little tiny differences, but they don't have like a huge difference, let's be real. But to me, like to my sensitive perfume loving nose, they do. So I would choose this any day over the original. But for the wintertime, this is amazing. It's so sweet and such a sexy scent. You could find it for like 20 bucks, super cheap, but smells so high end. So definitely check out Rihanna's Reb'l Fleur Love Always. My stomach is growling so hard and my mic is like right here, so I hope you guys, if you hear like, it's my stomach. All right, now I have another newer-ish scent. I included this in a haul. I also talked about this in a community post. I literally had to post this the second that I got it because I fell in love, and I've been using this a lot. So this is Jimmy Choo Illicit. I picked this up at TJ Maxx. I believe it was like 40 bucks, which is really good considering this is the 100 ml, so you're getting a full size designer scent for like 40 bucks. So really good price. This is like for the sweet lovers out there. I remember the first time that I smelled this scent and how in love I was with it. I was like, I have to make a post like immediately right now, because I had to let you guys know if you didn't like Jean Paul Gaultier's Scandale because of how heavy that honey note is in there and just how heavy it is overall. I think this is exactly what you would have wished that fragrance was. I personally really love Scandale because it is such a like a punchy scent. There's only like a time and a place to wear that perfume. I feel like the winter is a good time to wear that, and honestly probably the only time you could really get away with wearing that, where it's not gonna like make the people around you have a headache because it's such a strong scent. But this one still has that honey note, but it's so much softer and it's done really well and combined with other notes. This has top notes of ginger and bitter orange, middle notes of jasmine, sambac, orange blossom, and rose, and base notes of honey, amber, caramel, sandalwood, vanilla, and cashmere wood. So as you can tell, there's so many things apart from the honey that make this really creamy and indulgent and like a soft, ambery, perfect winter type scent. This is very gourmand, but an elevated gourmand. I feel like none of the gourmands that I'm going to share with you guys in this video are like immature gourmand. It does kind of start off a little bit like spicy because of that ginger, and also like that bitter orangey type of smell, but you immediately, like almost immediately, you get hit with the honey and the caramel and the sweeter, creamier notes. So you don't really get a lot of time to really take in like that ginger or the bitter orange. So that's not what this fragrance is. Honestly, I almost can't really tell which one I smell more between the honey or the caramel. Like, I can't tell which one I'm smelling because they're both very similar. Again, like how I said, the similarity between Scandal, on that one, that honey note is like all you smell. It literally smells like you stuck your head into like a beehive. Whereas this one, you kind of don't know if you're smelling honey or caramel. I'm saying that because I remember in the video that I hauled this, somebody said that I'm kind of weary of buying this scent because of the honey note. I don't want it to smell like Scandal. For the fall and winter time, incredible, unreal. I will still be wearing this for the summer and springtime though, any occasion. Perfect date night. This is so yummy. Like, it almost smells like a dulce de leche, like a caramel ice cream. I can't see anybody that loves sweeter scents or gourmand scents not loving this, and it lasts forever and ever and ever. This is my favorite Jimmy Choo of all time. I can't believe I slept on it. I would see it so much pop up at like Burlington and TJ Maxx and all these discount stores, and I never went towards it until I finally did, and I'm like, why did I take this long to buy this? Now for another very affordable scent that smells like it could be $300 or more. This is Guess Seductive Noir. This is one of those perfumes that I like want to tell nobody about because this is what dreams are made of. So many of you guys have told me that like you went out and bought it because of my recommendation and you like your life was changed. Like, it literally is like the best perfume in the world. I don't even think it's 20 bucks. I found this at TJ Maxx and I think I got it for like 16, something crazy like that. Like, please don't go past this and think like, oh, it's a Guess fragrance, it's like 16 bucks, it's gonna smell super cheap. I think this is a very severely underrated perfume. But the few people that have found out about this, they have discovered gold, I'm telling you, because this one is actually compared to a higher end fragrance, and that is Mon Guerlain by Guerlain, which is a very popular fragrance. A lot of people love. It's known to be like a really sexy, kind of like unique fragrance, and that's like the number one fragrance this is compared to. And I have smelled the original Mon Guerlain. They do smell very, very similar, but this one's better. It almost is like creamier, and it almost is a little bit sweeter. There's a lot of really like green notes in this, and it almost kind of makes you think like this will be really earthy. Maybe I wouldn't like that, but trust me, the notes don't really reflect exactly what this smells. This has top notes of sage, bergamot, and peony. It has middle notes of iris, jasmine, sambac, lily of the valley, and base notes of vanilla, Haitian vetiver, and velvet. There's a lot of notes in here that would make you think this would be a very green, like earthy type fragrance, but it's not. This is so sweet that when you look at those notes, you're like, am I looking at the right notes? It's one of those perfumes where when you smell, you're like, I can't pinpoint any specific note. Even if you know what the notes are, you're like, what am I smelling here? All the notes are composed so well, so like evenly, where nothing sticks out, nothing is like screechy, nothing is in your face. When you look at this on Fragrantica, literally when you go to the section where this perfume reminds me of section, all of the perfumes are Mon Guerlain by Guerlain. Like, it is like its number one dupe. I'm talking about not just like, oh, there's similar vibes. I'm talking duplicate of that perfume, but for 16 bucks in comparison to like 100 something. This is just one of those like hidden gem fragrances where once you buy this, tell no one about it. And like if somebody asks you what you're wearing, tell them it's Mon Guerlain so that nobody finds out about this, because people are going to like buy this out. I feel like if more people find out about this, this will get sold out. If you see this in any of your discount stores, definitely pick it up. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. This is just kind of like a creamy vanilla, but with like vetiver sort of mixture. Very sexy, very dark, and expensive. Nobody in the world will be able to tell that you're wearing a $16 fragrance. Nobody. Right. Next up, I have to talk about a scent that I have not talked about in a minute. This is Lancome La Nuit Tresor. This is talked about by a lot of people actually, and a lot of people think this is like one of the ultra like sexiest perfumes to ever exist on this planet. This is very sweet, very, very sweet. If you don't like sweet fragrances, I recommend you stay the away from this. It has a lot of notes in it, a lot of sweet notes. It has top notes of pear, tangerine, and bergamot. It has middle notes of strawberry, vanilla, orchid, black rose, passion fruit, and base notes of praline, caramel, lychee, vanilla, patchouli, incense, coffee, licorice, coumarin, and papyrus. So definitely a lot going on in here. This does start off honestly with more of like that tangerine, I feel like I can kind of smell, but that only lasts for like a second because then you immediately get the base notes, and I can definitely smell that caramel coming in. You definitely get that incense, and you do get patchouli in here, but the way that things are done is so unique. It's not your typical gourmand sweet fragrance. Like, you can just smell the sexy. I feel like out of all these fragrances, dare I say, even though I think they're all sexy, I think this one wins. This is heavy, beware of that. This is like a one spray and done kind of a fragrance. If you overdo this fragrance, you will get it from smelling really good and sexy and delicious to, oh my god, I have a headache and everybody around me wants to now throw up. Like, you could very easily overdo this fragrance and take it from smelling really good to absolutely rank. But if you do just like one spray, maybe two, like one over here, put it down. Put it down. Trust me, like, I'm the type of person where I spray my fragrances 30 times, like top to bottom. By the time I'm done spraying perfumes, I'm dripping in perfume. But that's a perfume. You cannot do that. You can just get very cloying very fast, but if you do it right, you will be the best smelling person in the room. It's a very elevated gourmand, if that makes sense. It smells very rich. Like, you can smell all of like the high quality notes that are in here. Like, you do get that like incensey kind of smell, which I wouldn't normally be into, but the way that it's composed with the other notes, I am into. This is, in my opinion, one of the most well done fruity patchoulis that there is, because I'm very, very hesitant when I buy a patchouli fragrance because I'm not a big fan. Whereas in this one, you can smell the patchouli, but you can also smell all of the other notes. So yeah, this is a really good one. Definitely for the winter time, because of how heavy and strong that it is. You got to be careful even in the winter time how much you spray of this, but you definitely know this is going to last you. It's a projecting scent. Amazing. You need to smell this. It has a lot going on in here. It's kind of hard to describe. So it's definitely one of those perfumes that you have to smell for yourself. But once you do, let me know. If you have this fragrance, let me know if you like it. I've only worn this like maybe 3 or 4 times, and I feel like every single one of those times I've gotten a compliment on this. But again, oh my god, you have to not overdo it. All right, next I had to include a Zara fragrance in here. Honestly, a lot of the Zara fragrances, which I have up here, are really good. There's so many other ones that I could have picked for this video, but I decided to go for this because this is so good. I wore this yesterday and I was in love with how I smelled. I smelled so incredible. This is Nuit. Nuit has notes of apricot, lily of the valley, and vanilla. So I mean, it's very simple. It's Zara fragrance and it's like 17 bucks. But this is so good. It's a lot more like toned down, but it kind of reminds me of Hypnotic Poison from Dior. It's a really seductive scent. It's very sweet, which is the case with all of these, but there's something about it where it's like you smell it and then you stop smelling it. It still lingers on your nose, like that amazing sweetness that it has. It's an intense perfume, and this honestly lasts on me. I wore it yesterday. Not the longest lasting perfume in the world, because that's kind of the case with a lot of these Zara perfumes, but it lasted me a good while. It's also a little bit powdery, not so much when you smell this out the bottle, but when you actually spray it on yourself, it's kind of like waxy in a way. It almost smells like coconut. It's really hard to describe, but overall, this is very, very sweet. It gives you vibes of Hypnotic Poison, so I think you will love this if you love Hypnotic Poison, but it's way less like in your face. I feel like the bottle really kind of gives you the vibe of what this is gonna smell like. It's like that dark, sexy, mysterious, captivating scent. So if you're looking for a really good winter Zara scent to pick out, then I highly recommend you try out Zara Nuit. And then speaking of Hypnotic Poison, obviously, can anybody ever do a winter perfumes video and not include literally the winter in a bottle perfume? This is the type of perfume, like, you remember how I said in the beginning of this video how I wear any perfumes at any like season. I don't really care. Well, I have like 2 perfumes that I can only wear for a specific season. This is one of them. This one I feel like is strictly a winter scent because of how heavy that this is. Every time I smell this, I get goosebumps. I'm not even joking. This reminds me of being in a winter cabin and like you smell like this and it's like snowing outside. This is a gourmand, like a gourmand has never been done before. This is the sexiest gourmand ever. Now, I will give a little disclaimer. A lot of people have pointed out that this does give a little bit of like a hint of a Play-Doh type of scent, so do with that what you will. Hypnotic Poison has top notes of coconut, plum, and apricot, middle notes of Brazilian rosewood, jasmine, caraway, tuberose, rose, lily of the valley, and base notes of vanilla, almond, sandalwood, and musk. Also, I forgot to mention, this is the eau de toilette. I feel like I've gotten people ask me that in the past. Definitely get the eau de toilette as opposed to the eau de parfum. This is already a heavy hitter, like super strong projecting fragrance that lasts for hours and honestly days. And the eau de parfum I've heard is just too much. Like, this is already a lot. To me, this is very like vanilla almondy type of fragrance. It has coconut in it, which is so weird, but it's like a deep, dark, wintry coconut, not like what you think coconut would typically smell like. This is definitely overall a very warm, vanilla, sugary, almondy scent, like an ultra gourmand scent. So you gotta be a gourmand lover, sweet lover in general to appreciate this fragrance. But I love this. I'm absolutely obsessed, and a lot of men really love this. There's been videos that people have like kind of gotten men to smell certain fragrances, and a lot of men have said that that is like a very sexy fragrance on a woman. So just wanted to mention that in case you care. So yeah, definitely check out Hypnotic Poison. I mean, the name really just gives away what the fragrance is. It's definitely a hypnotic scent for sure. So that was my top 10 perfumes for winter, and now I'm going to share with you guys my honorable mention that will shock a lot of you. It shocked me, and I'm still in shock at the fact that I've been wearing this fragrance since I bought it. For like the past 3 days in a row, I've been wearing nothing but this fragrance. So I recently picked this up and I included it in a shorts video. Fancy by Jessica Simpson. I know I have talked about this fragrance so badly in the past. It was in my most hated perfumes video. So many people talk so highly of this fragrance. Even people that are like perfume snobs, or like they only have higher end fragrances, they love this one. So I went to Ross and I was like, maybe I'll give it another chance. So I bought the full bottle of it. Now, I'm starting to think that the one I had in the past maybe had gone bad. This is a fragrance that has vanilla in it, has caramel in it. And I know that those scents do turn color after a while, but this one I bought and it's completely clear. Whereas the older one that I had bought, it was yellow even when I first bought it. Some people have told me also that there's 2 different formulations of this. Like there's an older formulation and then there's a newer one. But I'm starting to think that I had gotten a bad... It still smells similar to it, don't get me wrong, as the one that I had. But I can tolerate this one. And I have been tolerating it so much so that I've been wearing it for like 3 days straight. My fiance really loves this. It still has like that powdery scent to it, which I didn't love even the first time I smelled this fragrance, but I'm starting to be okay with it. It is very floral to me. I know the reason why I didn't like this fragrance is because this has gardenia, and I'm not a fan of gardenia in a lot of fragrances. And I've said in the past that the reason why I don't like this, even though everybody thinks of this fragrance as like a really caramelly, sugary, sweet gourmand fragrance, I've never been able to think of it that way because that gardenia just ruins it for me. But after getting this new bottle, I'm like, I feel like I smell that gardenia, and that's maybe what I don't love about it. But I love everything else. This has top notes of pear, apricot, red berries, middle notes of caramel, almond, gardenia, and jasmine, and base notes of vanilla, amber, and sandalwood. So it's very sweet and creamy overall, and especially after I've had this on my clothes, this lasts forever. I'm actually wearing the same exact sweatshirt that I was wearing yesterday. And when I went to go and put this on, I smelled it all over my shirt, and I was like, my shirt smells incredible. And it had 0 floral scent to it. It just smells like caramel. Like my shirt right now just smells like literal caramel drizzle, like sugary sweetness. No hint of any floral. Something changed about my nose, or maybe the one I had before was a different formulation, or maybe it had gone bad. I'm not really sure, but I like this now. I don't love it, okay? There's still certain things where I'm like, still not 100% for, but I've definitely come a long way with it. Like, I made a shorts video. A lot of people commented on that video and told me that they had the exact same experience, that they hated it and now they absolutely love it. So I don't know. Our noses constantly change, so it's always really hard to say that you hate a fragrance. So like, this was not one that I would have loved, but now I do. So, but I had to mention this as like a winter scent because it's such a perfect winter scent. It's not too heavy where I feel like this is just a winter scent, because it still has like a freshness to it. It's like, it's very sweet and gourmand, but there is like a freshness to it where it's not too like heavy down your throat, and it's not too cloying, to where I think this could be good for all year round. But especially for the winter, it's a really, really warm, comforting scent. So I had to include it as like an honorable mention. But you guys, I think you guys are gonna hear me talk about this more in my next future videos. But yeah, that's Fancy from Jessica Simpson that I now somehow like. Okay, so that is it for this giant. I feel like I've been filming forever. I feel like I always say that. My videos are like 30 minutes long. You guys know this. A girl can talk. Let me know if you're thinking of getting any of these winter perfume recommendations. Let me know your winter perfume recommendations. Anything that I don't own. I love your recommendations. I literally go out and buy them. So definitely leave them for me in the comments so that other people can see as well some more recommendations. But yeah, I hope you guys liked mine. Thank you for watching this video. As always, please subscribe to my channel and turn your post notifications on, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.